Hey, what is up guys, Speed here, and today I am bringing you 3 broken item builds that you can use in the current meta to absolutely dumpster your opponents. These are 3 builds that I've come upon, either through talking to my friends or watching pro games, and they all prove to be very, very effective. These are builds that pros are currently using that I just don't see pub players using yet. However, after this video, I think a lot of you guys will be experimenting with them because they are very, very powerful. And so yeah, if you're excited for this video, smash a like button, subscribe, and of course, sign up to the gameleap website, 50% off right now to get some of the best content. It is a limited time offer, so if you don't get it now, you may never get a 50% off deal. That's half, right guys? That's pretty quick math. By the way, I post every single day. You guys probably know that by now, a lot of you, but if you're new here, welcome. If you don't know about the gameleap website, all the content we post is not here on YouTube. A lot of it is also over on the website, and it is new, exclusive content on very cool topics. A lot of things that I know will apply to you guys. I've listed some awesome videos recently that we're making. I also just made a full Medusa course. I mean, there's so many things coming to the website that I'm excited to share with you. So for 50% off, click the link down below right now. Go sign up. And I hope to see you guys there because I really do believe if you click that link and sign up, you're going to learn so much and gain MMR very quickly. Now, let's get into the video. So the first build that we have is Mason's MKB Sanjinyasha Weaver. Weaver's a hero that has been in a weird place for a long time. People don't know how to play him. Do you go Deso? Do you go Lincolns? Well, apparently you go MKB into Sanjinyasha, and let's talk about why. So the first thing that I would like to note is the fact that Weaver has changed substantially as a hero. Now it is good to buy treads on him, right? So in the past he would often skip boots, but they changed Sakuchi not too long ago to make it where it does not give you a maximum movement speed, it gives you a set rate of movement speed. You can see at max it gives you 290. And so buying boots gives you the movement speed, it just puts it on top of that. And so treads are very, very effective. Also, with this MKB rush, he's going to have a very early timing. You can see his items are built around fighting, right guys? And this is what the idea behind the MKB is. You buy the small portions of the MKB, such as Blitz Knuckles, and then other stat items, such as Raindrops, Wraithman, Wand. Please buy all of these items, by the way. Also try to get neutral items, and then you fight. You fight a lot. You can see him instantly switching to Intelligence Treads here, and he's gonna go right in. And this is the power of Weaver. If you don't play Weaver like this, you should play a different carry. Weaver needs to fight. All right, Weaver wants to run around and kill off supports that have no chance against him. That is the power of this hero. Also, when you get bugs at level 8, which is typically when Mason takes it, you're going to stomp your lane, right? It makes you extremely powerful. I would like to say, though, if you are going to play Weaver, make sure you do have a balance between fighting and farming. After that engagement that we just watched top, he actually did shift back to the top lane and farmed it for about 2 minutes straight, right? Didn't do anything crazy, he just shoved it in. However, you can see him constantly looking mid here. Right, guys, you see this? Over and over and over again, he's just shifting his camera over to mid because he wants to fight, right? If the opportunity comes, he wants to take it, he wants to battle. And in the 17-minute fight here, you're going to see the pure power of the MKB. By the way, guys, you want to max out your Gemini attack over your bugs, and at level 10, he typically takes 15 damage. After all, you're hitting a lot, you have a lot of attack speed in Gemini attack, so it makes a lot of sense. But in this fight here, you can really see the MKB come into play. Even against the CK, who can be a pretty high armor hero, he's shredding. This Nature's Prophet gets absolutely destroyed, and he can easily clean up the fight. And of course, it doesn't stop there. He goes on to find the Rubik, and basically 3-shots him. That's ridiculous. And now here is where things get weird, and I think a lot of players would get confused. They're like, why is Sanjinyasha? Well, let's talk about it. First things first, the reason why this item used to be horrible on Weaver is the same reason why boots used to be mediocre, right? The reason is because now the movement speed actually works. You actually use the percentage-based movement speed, so it makes Weaver insanely fast. You can see in Sakuchi here, he is 671, right? Because it's 10% of the movement speed. It's a ton, and therefore it makes a lot of sense. Also, it makes him very, very, very tanky, right? You need an item that keeps you alive on Weaver, so not only does Sanjinyasha make you more offensive with more movement speed, it also gives you status resist, a lot of HP, and it allows him to survive that gank, right there. I guarantee he is dead if he does not have a Sanjinyasha, and rather he has some sort of, I don't know, DPS item. And after rolling through this game, he will finish it off with a satanic purchase. Obviously, he's just going for a lot of status resist, the ability to be tanky, and frontline. Once you have MKB, you do plenty of damage, and that's the idea behind this build. You get an MKB, you play around the edges of the fights with the MKB, And then, when you get your tanky items, you can begin to frontline. Let's get into the second build. For our next build, we will be looking at a weird variation of the typical Mars build. This is an item that, honestly, I've been seeing quite a bit now. It has some success and some failure, but it is very, very viable in certain circumstances, and I want to talk about those certain circumstances. So the first thing you need to consider is that at level 1, you should be more often than not taking God's Rebuke. It is only a 65 mana spell that allows you to secure range, creep CS, harass your opponent, and set up for other disables. A lot of people are still taking Spear. It is by far the lesser of the two spells, so please do not make that mistake. So there are a couple of parts to this build that I would like to discuss. The first part of the build is his neutral item, which is the Keen Optic, guys. Make sure that you have a mana neutral item when you're playing Mars. The second part is that he went bottle in the laning stage. So yes, it was basically his first item. He had a stick as well. And this is very important on Mars. Mars is a very mana heavy hero. And in the laning stage, if you are able to spam your spells, you're going to win the lane. So what do? You buy a bottle. When the 5-minute runes are coming, you give your bottle to your position 4. They take the bottle, they refill the bottle, they bring it back to you, and all of a sudden you have even more mana. And if they die, which is pretty common for position 4s, especially if they're fighting a lot with you, then in that case, what's going to happen is they're able to TP back in and refill your bottles. So it really is the perfect offlane item on Mars. The second thing that I'd like to consider is that he has treads and a lot of stats. No soul ring. Do not buy bottle and soul ring, it's overkill. Buy these items instead. In upcoming years where things get spicy, he bought a Yules. Yes, everyone, you heard me correctly, a Yules on Mars. Now, why is this good? Well, the first thing I would say is that this game in particular, it's strong. You can Yules dodge Snowball, you can Yules the Doom if he blinks in, you can Yules if the Slark goes on you. Phoenix's spells, two of them can be purged. All of Silencer's spells can be purged. And so in that regard, it's just a good Yules game. But on the same note, it's also a good Mars item. Why is that? Well, you can actually set up your spear with Yules, which we can see in a bit. We'll see if he does the combo. And so in the last game, there actually wasn't any particularly good Yules combo, but I have a good example here. So he's going to walk into the fight, and then you want to Yules up whoever you're going on, and this is very, very effective, because even if they're a mobile hero, if you time it correctly, you can actually spear them on the way down from the Yules, and it's very hard for anyone to pop any sort of defensive item. And so yeah, you Yules them up, put up the arena, spear them into the wall, and that's it. Also, of course, you could do this combo without the arena. Let's say you just have to catch up to someone and need to angle yourself so you can spear them into a tree or a wall. That works totally fine as well. All in all, this is just a good item to set up offensively and a very good defensive item as well. After all, Mars typically relies on movement speed to position and kite around in fights, and has a lot of mana problems, so Yules helps with all of this. And for the last and final build, we have Midwinter Wyvern. I want to talk about why people are doing this build wrong and look at it from Gunner's perspective. In a game where he stomped, especially the early game, he was popping off, and let's take a look. So right here, you can see he's laning against a Bat Rider. This is definitely not a good matchup for Wyvern by any means. After all, Bat Rider can easily kill you if you step out even slightly too far. And so the crazy thing is that he actually solo kills him. The Bat Rider walks over to the camp here, and he's able to hit a really nice W off the small camp and pick up the kill. And that really only happens because he maxed out his W number 1. He was constantly harassing the Bat Rider, and he's out of mana, right guys? He has 700 total mana, and he's out at the 5-minute mark. If you do not have this and you're playing Winter Wyvern, you are playing Midwinter Wyvern absolutely incorrect. So do not make that mistake. Spam your W and max your W. The next thing we see is a point I actually talked about in my mid laner mistakes video that came out yesterday. When you're going back to base, you want to look at the map. This is your best opportunity to rotate because you're going to have full resources when you rotate. And, you just don't have any missing resources. So yeah, he's going to TP bottom here. Waits for the enemy team to be out and, out of vision. TP's out of vision. Very important, right guys? TP's out of vision. Crucial. And because of this, he's able to get a nice 2-man Winter's Curse, follows it up with a W, and picks up a double kill. And you might be thinking, oh, speed, surely it stops there, the madness. There's nothing the enemy team can do. No, it doesn't. But I would like to mention one point before we get into, the next little gank. It's that he actually farms a lot with his W. And this is why you want to max the W. I know there's a lot of Winter Wyvern mid players, and they often will max their Q. After all, your Orchid build revolves more so around your Q than your W. But you can't farm with your Q that much. And so because he maxes his W, he can farm quite efficiently, right? It's pretty fast, actually. But yeah, the last gank of the early game is about to come up right here. He TP's top when he sees the enemy team ganking, curses up the Void, pops his wand for a nice little W, and picks up another kill. And you can see the slows from Winter Wyvern are insane. The Bad Rider can't move at all, like literally can't move at all, and he just got a kill on the K1 Hector, arguably one of the best carry players in the world, and Moo. Like it's so effective. This hero's legit. He ended up having a bit of a rough mid game, but still I'd like to show you the final product. After all, he was creating a lot of space. You know, he has a PA and a Lycan offlane, two heroes that can struggle to keep tempo with him, so it was to be somewhat expected that he would struggle a little bit, at least a little bit, in the mid game. But let's look at this build here and see how effective it is. At level 10, you obviously want to take your 50 damage talent. This is kind of what the build revolves around largely. And yeah, then you just kill people. It goes on the Lina here and essentially solo kills him. That's not really with the help of any other hero. Maybe the Lycan did a slight amount of damage, but yeah, that's how ridiculous Wyvern is. Just straight up solo kills the Lina from full HP. And that combo is only on, a 20-second cooldown. You just have to wait for your next Arctic burn. In this game in particular, he goes for a Blink Dagger, and the reason for that is that the enemy team has a lot of backline jump, right? If they have a lot of backline jump, you can't get away with, going like a Dragonlance. They'll catch you anyway, and therefore his build makes a lot more sense, right? It makes a lot more sense. After all, he has to dodge Chrono and Lasso and even abilities like Earth Splitter and Echo Stomp, so this is the build to go. Other items that you can purchase though are Glimmer Cape. I think Glimmer Cape after the Orchid is a fantastic item. It gives you attack speed, magic resist, and the ability to stay invisible, which is super effective on Winter Wyvern. And the last thing I like about Mid Wyvern that is kind of weird, it's a weird idea, but the cool part about it is that people will always feel the need to go on you, because if they don't go on you, you counter initiate. Like Wyvern is arguably the best counter initiator in the game. He has the save, multiple slows, a long duration AoE stun, and so you kind of have to go on Wyvern. The only argument against this is that, after all, it's your mid laner, so you don't really want to bait your mid laner. You don't want your mid laner to get gone on and die, and in this fight here, that's exactly what happens. Now, it is not necessarily a bad thing in this case. After all, his offlaner is a Lycan and his safe laner is a farm with PA, so him getting gone on and tanking the gank is actually quite good for those heroes. On top of that, he's able to buy back here, and because they have the outpost, he can TP in. And yeah, they end up getting an absolute team wipe after the Orchid comes in, heals up his Wolf as well. And yeah, the game ends just about right here, right? The enemy team is about to start feeding one by one. This game only goes 3 minutes longer, even though they only have a 1k advantage. Yeah, this game basically just ends after they take this Rax. And upcoming here is the game-winning fight for the boys. He sees that the Void has popped his Manta. Kind of a big mistake by the Void. After all, the Void does not have BKB yet. And because of this, he has no way to purchase the Orchid. And that means it's death. And think about it, in your typical pub, very often carries will be too greedy to buy Mantas and buy BKBs and items like this. And very often the Orchid will just allow you to full HP solo kill them, which is extremely powerful, especially in pubs. And so yeah, that's going to be about all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and are interested in trying out these builds. If you do, or you have any builds you'd like to share with the community, let us know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! Before you leave, just want to say a quick message. If you're trying to get better at Dota or you just enjoyed that video, I know this is pretty general and you're going to hear this quite a bit from me, but I recommend you sign up to gameleap.com. Why? Because I put a lot of effort into the content over there, and generally the effort I do there is different from the content you're going to see here on YouTube. It is different. In fact, I usually go a lot more in depth on topics or into niche topics that help you get to the next level even faster, because on YouTube, I often have to keep it more mainstream, and that's even why I'm putting it at the end of this YouTube video. That's why this is at the end, because a lot of people just watch 5 minutes, they skip through just for like the dopamine spike. But if you are interested in actually getting better at Dota, I recommend you go to the description down below, get your discount right now by clicking the link, sign up, use the discount code that you're going to see there, and I hope to see you there right now. So click it, and yeah, thanks for watching.